Welcome back, my doll pals. This is a very special video. It's a collaboration. A space collaboration. I've always loved space, and so the second that I saw that there was a space collaboration, I knew I was in. I immediately thought of using Gil Gillington. I love his face shape, and I've used him 4 or 5 times. He's a great base. I mixed up 2-part epoxy sculpt to cover up his poor head wounds and insert in ears. I got the ears from my Jeannine dragon doll, which I used to make my mermaid. I made sure to smooth the epoxy sculpt with water. It takes 4 to 6 hours to dry. I made sure to attach the head back to the body, otherwise it might crack when it's reattached. Once it's dry, it can be sanded and carved down. I inserted those needles to stabilize the ears. Once he's completely sanded down, I add a base coat of white. I'll later come back with a brown color. Since one of my goals is inclusivity, paint is always the best option. Thin, watery layers is the best way to go, and then let them dry. Since I didn't use MSC for this face-up, I used matte varnish instead. It's a great alternative, however, there are certain things that you have to do differently. Pastels tend to not stick to the face very well, and they tend to rub off. The paint will stay on your face, though. And a lot of times you won't get that good tooth that Mr. Super Clear provides. It's almost like you can draw on paper with Mr. Super Clear, but it's so toxic that I don't use it very often. If you're an artist that ends up working in layers, Mr. Super Clear is definitely the way to go, but if you are an artist that doesn't really care about layers that much, this method seems to be the best. Make sure that you experiment and find out what's best for you. If you do use Mr. Super Clear, you're going to need a respirator mask or a dust mask. I'd prefer a respirator mask, but make sure that when you spray Mr. Super Clear that the wind is going away from you, and make sure you don't get it on your skin or your clothes. Also make sure to not spray Mr. Super Clear when it's too cold and when it's not too warm, because it's a very finicky substance. I always liked these eyebrows because it gave off the flair of like a Vulcan type look. If you've ever watched Star Trek and you know who Spock is, then you know that Spock's a Vulcan. He has a very short eyebrow, which is always up, and so it gives him more of a stern look. So I wanted to try and recreate something similar to that, but something not exact. I didn't want him to look mean, I just wanted him to look like he was being serious. After lightly adding brush strokes to his beard, the face is done. I think he looks very handsome. One important thing to do is to add light skin tone to the palms, especially if the character is black. The palms are very light, so it's very important to add that. A lot of people miss that part. I purchased some foil for this doll to add some decoration. I purchased some foil to add to the doll and decorate the shoes. This is some foil from the Cricut, so it doesn't quite work the way I thought it was going to. It's not heat transfer, so it's very fickle. I made a chest plate and armor from some fun foam, and a hot glue gun and some Velcro. If you want a very deep and detailed way of how to make something like this, go and check out Delightful's video on how to make armor. This is how I actually learned how to do it. She also made a Sylvally video, which is a Pokemon. So yeah, I definitely watch her video on it because it's very, very in-depth. This is like the third time I've made armor, so it's not as good as it could be, but it's getting better. I really wanted to give him more of a battle suit look to make sure that it didn't look like he was just wearing normal clothes. So I wanted to give him some of a space suit, and so this is how I accomplished that. After painting him and adding the last details, he's done. I had such a good time in my group chat making this doll. It was very cool. I'm looking forward to the next collaboration that I'm doing, which happens to be a fairy collaboration. I'm currently working on it right now as I'm recording this video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.